Now I'm going to read you William Barclay's Daily Celebration. Identification, Part 1. One of the commonest activities, is the attempt to find classification into which we can divide people. The fundamental difference between one kind of person and another can be seen in a person's attitude to other people. By and large, that attitude may be one of two things. It may be identification and it may be detachment. I've recently come across instances of both of these attitudes to men. Clifford Bax writes of George Russell, R.A.E., as he was commonly called. People were not real to A.E. Never once did he show any interest in a man's background, in his hopes, in his troubles. We were shadows and listeners. That's sad. George Russell was quite detached in his attitude to men. To him, men were not persons with hearts and emotions and feelings and experiences. To him, they were merely an audience to talk to and to impress. H.G. Wells, who knew her well, said of Beatrix Webb, the famous Fabian socialist, she saw men as samples moving. To her again, people were not persons. They were samples and specimens to be statistically analyzed and recorded and entered on schedules. On the other hand, what is that noise? I'm getting distracted. It sounds like something's dripping or leaking or... Okay, I will go back to that later. I will go see what that is later. Okay. I'm in an old hotel. I don't know. Sounds like the water's on, but it's not. I can see it from here. Okay, I'm gonna have to stop this and investigate. Okay, where was I? I didn't figure out what that noise was, but anyways, I investigated, but I didn't find anything. I don't even know where it was coming from. I think it might have been the air conditioner, but it's off, so I don't know. The heat's not on, the air's not on. It's like 70 something degrees. It's like perfect in here. Don't need heat, don't need air. So I don't know, but it sounded like water. It sounded like water running. Okay. On the other hand, James Agate wrote of J.K. Chesterton. Unlike some other thinkers, Chesterton understood his fellow man. The woes of a jockey were as familiar to him as the worries of a judge. Chesterton, more than any man I have ever known, had the common touch. He would give the whole of his attention to a bootblack. Anybody, jockey, judge, bootblack, I don't know what a bootblack is, was to Chesterton a person in whom he was intensely interested and with whose feelings and experiences he was determined to identify himself. Again, Clifford Bax notes that in a letter, Keats, the poet, said that a poet has no personality is a chameleon, finds that he is the billiard balls if he watches a game. That is to say, the poet instinctively, and because he cannot help it, identifies himself with everyone he sees. It's funny that he's talking about the poet. That's me. He instinctively enters into their experience and identifies himself with the balls which are knocked about in a game of billiards. That's interesting. Tomorrow is part 2, and I'm going to do part 2 today because both it's Sunday. I'm not going to be resting. I'm going to be driving though, and because I'm going to be driving to Flagstaff. But this one made me think of, yeah, I did pay to go to the Switch Fit getaway, but also the guys are so nice and like just down to earth and everything. The guys in the band. And so the friend I met, Emily, is a musician, and she was playing a song she wrote, because on beach day, you know, some people did activities in surfing and canoeing or paddle boarding and stuff, and I did that. And some people, some musicians were playing at the tent at the beach, and she was playing, and John Foreman came up from surfing because he was also surfing with us, and he was helping me learn to with surfing because they were in the water with us. There goes that water again. Speaking of water, what in the world? It sounds like it's coming from over there. I didn't hear that yesterday here. But anyways, he was listening intently to Emily, and I was so glad I thought to start filming. And so I sent her the video, and I shared it on my community tab because she shared it on her Instagram. Yeah, he was listening to her song, and I know it was encouraging to me too. I said a poem for Rami, who's the keyboardist, and I said a poem for Chad, who's the drummer, and Chad really loved it, and he wanted a copy of the poem, so I gave him a copy of my book on the last day. So and that was really encouraging to me, and I know it was probably encouraging to Emily that John Foreman was listening to her song and liked her song. And so that's like this, you know, because they're like the poets identifying with their fans. And so I thought it was very cool. It was a very good good getaway. So I'm gonna let you go. Don't say that no one cares for you, because I do, and God does too. Don't forget to pray for Red, because Red is praying for you. Bye.